All right, folks. Hey, welcome back for another episode. I wanted to welcome my next guests. They are two talented artists joining forces for a project that perfectly blends sound and storytelling. DJ Kawon, known for his smooth drums, soulful samples, and jazzy production style, teams up with Florida-based MC Travisty, whose flows as smooth as a fine bottle of whiskey. Together, they've crafted a cohesive and cinematic album titled What a Time to Be Alive. The project showcases DJ Kawon's refined production and Travisty's gift for vivid storytelling, making it a standout in today's hip hop landscape. I wanted to welcome Travesty and DJ Kawon. What's good? How you guys doing, fellas?
Fellas, how you
Doing
doing? How
good,
you
doing
doing?
good.
Good, good. What part of Florida are you from?
I've been all up and down from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to Lake Worth, but for the most part, the last few years, I've been up in Lake Worth for like the past probably like 8 years, something like that, seven,
Oh,
8 years.
how long you been rhyming? For a long time, obviously, but
Yeah, we've been damn, yeah, probably. I mean, since high school,
yeah.
since the late 2000, we were always doing it. I didn't take it serious,
Huh?
till really I linked up with my man Joker and we did the bench stuff.
Okay.
And that was just really probably in like '05, '06, and we really didn't start doing nothing until closer to like '08, '09, actually putting something out. We just did local, shows on the scene,
Yeah.
local stuff, and just continue to rock. So,
Oh,
now it's probably, I mean, you want to say like 20 years, but it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, I've,
yeah.
I've always been I've always been in it since my entire life, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know the defining moment when I say I really started trying to like take it more serious because we were always doing shows. It's still like a passion, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, hey man, we got Kawan back on, and so I'll pick up where I left off. But hey again, fellas, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about your new project, my man Kawan. I know based out of Texas, but Travesty, quick, can you tell me where you were born, where you grew up, and where you're currently living at right now?
for sure, for sure. So I was all my family's from pretty much New York. I was actually born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I lived all up and down the East Coast, from North Carolina, Maryland, New York, Florida. I've been all up and down, but honestly, we pretty much stationed down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, like when I was about like sixth grade, and we kind of been going from Fort Lauderdale to Boca to Lake Worth, all throughout like the
Okay.
my childhood type of things. So I've been South Florida, Miami, Lake Worth, Fort Lauderdale. I would say most of my life, until recently on some work stuff. I moved up. I'm pretty much right outside Indianapolis right now.
Mm.
So the last year has been kind of wild for me because
Mhm.
totally different from what I'm used to. I still take trips, down to see the homies and do shows in Florida and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty much in Indianapolis right now.
Well, hey, we're living in a good time right now because you guys have been doing music as long as I have, and it's always just kind of been difficult when you want to connect with another MC from a different part of the world. And so I love that we're able to just to combine
Mhm.
all our powers and just put music down these days. You guys are across different parts of the United States, but Kawan, tell me what inspired the album. What inspired you guys to put this project together?
Word up. And you can hear me now, right? Because my phone was
Loud
doing
and clear,
some
my man.
okay. My phone was doing some weird glitchy stuff. So yeah, man, I actually met Trav through my guy, H2Owens,
Okay.
who has a really dope platform down there in Miami, who highlights a lot of the artists out there. So he reached out to me to interview Trav when Trav dropped
Okay.
Reminisce 90 shit project.
Okay.
And I definitely loved it, man. I love what I was hearing, and I was like, "Yo, this dude is dope."
Yeah.
And he reminded me that I listened to some of his previous work from
Okay.
Benchwarmer Clicks back in the day when I heard his voice. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm familiar with this dude." So we talked, we interviewed, and I really liked his style. After that, I was just like, "Yo, I got to figure out a way to work with this guy somehow." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of reached out to Trav, maybe a month after the interview, and was just like, "Yo, man, let's because on the production side, I was still trying to figure out how I wanted to not produce, but how I wanted to kind of present myself as a producer. So I was
Mhm.
like, let me just produce some like one-off singles here and there and
Okay.
release them and just see what people think. So I sent the beat to Trav, and that ended up being the joint "Let It Go."
Okay.
Um, and so we kind of released that as a one-off, and we got a really, really good feedback on that. And I noticed
Nice.
that like it was accidentally getting like radio play on college radio, and just it was just like ended up in weird spaces. So I was just like, okay, maybe me and him got something going on. So
Yeah.
I kind of reached out to him and was like, yo, I know you got the bench warmers click stuff and you're kind of busy, but would you mind maybe we can team up and just put something together? And
Yeah.
Travis all about it, man, and just kind of started sending him beats here and there. And I kind of figured I can tap in what his style is musically because
Yeah.
I think we have very similar tastes in music. Everything I was sending him, I think out of all the beats I sent him total, he maybe didn't use two of them, which is a win for me as a producer. You know what I mean? So that means that I was in pocket with his style.
And you are super prolific too. I mean, you got a lot of projects going on. And I think you mentioned to me that Travisty is a very quick writer too. Trav, can you tell me when you got
Yeah.
a hold of those beats? I mean, were you just knocking them out, or did he just kind of tailor every beat to the concept of your song? What was the process like putting the tracks together?
So honestly, I think as Kawon said, we're lucky. Like we have similar interests in
Mm.
music, similar in that background. So we both our styles were similar. So I think he was kind of just started out sending me a couple like the first joint he just sent me like I think it might have just for Let It Go. It might have just been one Lucy. And I was like, word, I dig it. Let me use it. And then he was sending me packs for like 2 or 3 joints. And usually there's one that pretty much when someone sends me a pack, one hits me off rip, and I'm like, I'm writing to this for right now. You just feel the vibe and you start cooking with it. And
Yep.
then the other two, you're like, I hear myself on them. You just stash away, and man, a couple of days later, you just click on it, and you're like, okay, word. Now this one's hitting me. So
Yeah.
that's lucky how it came across. And I guess the boom bap sound or anywhere that's that those 88 BPMs to like 95, that's the pocket I love. I mean, of
Okay.
course there's always some contrast there, but so and with my deep voice and kind of Kawon sometimes has a darker sound with some of his production, at
It
least
was
that we
perfect.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just kind of meshed together because yeah, there's certain joints just because my voice, even though I like the beat, I'm like I don't know if I can sound right on certain ones. I think
Yeah.
it's just my voice, but
Yeah.
or it could just be my own being the worst critic. You're always the
No.
worst
Yeah.
critic.
You guys are spot on, and as a listener, I agree with everything you had mentioned. Kawan, that he operates between that 80, 88 and 95 BPM is good. I always compliment him on his drums. His ability to
Yeah,
program drums is super dope, and your voice, your delivery is awesome. Your voice reminds me of Rockness Monster from the Boot Camp Click, but your delivery is different, super unique.
Mhm.
But I love
definitely.
that sound, man, that boot camp sound. So. Um,
Definitely Rock and Lord Have Mercy were big inspirations.
Dope,
Uh,
man.
I mean,
Good.
I don't sound nothing like them, but like
No,
still inspired. I mean, well, when I get comparisons, I get their names just off my voice, but style wise, yeah,
yeah,
totally different.
it's
But
different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
huge inspirations, those guys.
Ah, that's great, man. So yeah, big intended to be a compliment, but hey, fantastic. Okay, so you guys put that together. You guys met. Kawan reached out to you. Tell me how long it took to put the album together, and then did any songs not make the final cut? Kawan, you want to tell me what it looked like putting the album?
Yeah. Yeah. So me and Trav, we kind of finished the album fairly quickly per se. I think it was like maybe 1 to 2 joints that we was kind of thinking of how many we wanted to do total on the album.
Yeah.
But while we were recording that, we was actually recording another joint with my man Lindor,
Yep.
that the fellas are gonna release soon. And so we was kind of in both worlds kind of doing that. And I know Trav said he was with the move and being in a new location with work, so work was happening. So he kind of was dealing with that. So we kind of iced the project a little bit.
Okay.
I would say probably from starting the project to release, I would say maybe a little bit over a year.
Okay.
We just kind of sat on it because we felt like it really wasn't a rush to
Yeah.
put it out because he was still promoting his joints, his Reminisce project and his remix project. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel like we was going to overload the people with too much Trav right away. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I'll wait. We'll wait, and when the time is right, we'll throw it out there, and just give him a proper introduction into he got his 2 projects with Mad Good, and then we're gonna release this one so we can have a nice little space in between everything. You know what I mean? And Trav is dope for that as far as his music, man. He'll go back and promote another album at any minute. You know what I mean? Which I love because it's kind of
Dude.
like he kind of reminding people of how dope his catalog is. That was my biggest, I guess. How like he said, he's very critical. That was me being critical as a producer because I'm like his catalog is already dope. So how can I add to it
Yeah.
instead of take away from it, because I didn't want to be the guy that they'd be like, his albums are dope up until he dropped that What a Time to Be Alive.
Not the case though, man. It was dope, man. Hey, Travis, you guys got plans? Are you guys I know got a plan in terms of like physical copies. Can you tell everybody real quick what you guys are doing in terms of you doing CD, vinyl, tape? What's the plan for the album?
Yeah, so actually we're doing all platforms. Of course it's digital, but we also are doing cassette, vinyl, and CD. Cassettes and CDs are now shipping at Mad Good Records now.
Nice.
He's got everything set now. The vinyl shipped out. I should be getting the vinyl. It shipped actually yesterday. I finally got the tracking and everything.
All
So
right.
that should be coming in probably, I think, in like 2 to 3 days. Vinyls will be on the Benchwarmers Bandcamp, and we're going to look to get a couple bundles together that's going to have all three formats. That'll be shipping out probably by the end of next week. I'll have the vinyl on deck, and I'll be shipping out orders because it's been on pre-order, so I already have some orders I need to ship out. But yeah, we'll have it. So all three formats are going to be available.
Sick.
Cassette and CD at Mad Good Records, and vinyl will be at the Benchwarmers Bandcamp.
To you, how important is it to have physical copies of your album? Do you not care, or do you think that is still a major piece of being an artist?
I'm still a dinosaur in that function where I definitely want the physicals. I'm a collector myself.
Mm.
I mean, I still get, I got vinyl, I got tapes, I got CDs. I love to support the homies, but like, even cats like, this year was great to see just now happened Mobb Deep, and you got the Ghost Project, Ghostface, Common, Redman. There's a lot of artists from our era that were dropping this year, and I'm happy to say they all dropped physicals too. I still think that's a piece. And for those who still get physicals, I feel once someone gets it, they'll stick with you.
Yeah.
So it's still a big part for me just because I'm a collector. I feel digital is too much of a fly-by playlist. Hey, you got digital, boom. I put a joint or two, I like it, it's on my playlist, but 7 other albums came out. But if you have a physical, you can still sit back, pop it in, and enjoy an album experience.
Yeah.
I get both sides, playlists and albums, but you know what I mean? So
I agree. Now, great answer. Kawon, talk to me about the ordering of the song. How hard was that to rearrange the tracks in final order? And what was the process that you and Travisty went through to do that?
Yeah, I think we definitely collaborated on that one. Whenever I do sequencing for projects, I always come from a DJ's perspective. So it's always like a flow, right? I always wanted to feel like it's like a mixtape where you can go back to back songs and it's not like a weird kind of spacing in between. So
Yeah.
and it's weird how I do it. I usually start the track from the beginning and I go to the end, and then I'll kind of pick another track to see how it flows into it. So it's like a weird ear thing that I do as a DJ, and I think that's 95% how I do it. It's really not for me. It's not like a science behind it. It's just more of a flow from a DJ's ear. If so,
Yeah.
because I think about like back in the day when you was at the club and the DJ was having a dope set, the party was always going. You know what I'm saying? There was never a break in between. So that's kind of how I did it. And I know we collaborated on some of the later editions of the track where we was going to plug it in, because the Smoke joint by Click Smoke was like a late addition to the album. That was like literally the album was mixed and mastered, and I made that beat, and I was like, this got to go on the album. And so I sent it to Trav. I was like, hey man, what you think about this one? And he's like, I'll knock it out this weekend. And we sent it off to mastering right after that. And then that's when we was kind of like, well, where would we place it? Because we already have a sequence. And he was like, let's just put it here. And it just flowed in there. But it was pretty much me and him collaborating on what we thought and just kind of broke it down. And I played it a few times back and forth in the orders, and we settled on how it is now.
Cool. Travesty, are you guys at a point in your relationship where you can tell him that, hey, this beat is not up to par, or can Kawon tell you, this is not up to par with your other songs? Or is it?
I would think 100%. But I think honestly, I think the way me and Kawon been from the start, I think it would be that way.
Okay.
Because I think we're both artists in that measure, and I wouldn't in that way. I don't know if the beat would be up to par or the beat just wouldn't be for me.
That's right. I mean? Okay. Well said.
That's kind of what I would tell say it for. Be like, oh, this one's dope. And there's some beats, honestly, sometimes, and Kawon even has some of them that's like, I don't even rhyme to it. I might light an L and just vibe to it. And it's one of those interlude beats that sometimes I want to just listen to. So But yeah, I would think definitely if I was like if Kawon sent me a joint and because he sends joints now that, we're just with our crew and he'd be like, yo, what you think? And I'm lucky to say I don't ever have to come back and be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that one
He's
just because.
fire, man. He comes
Yeah.
hot, but I think you phrased it more correctly in the
Yeah.
sense that it just doesn't fit the vibe, right? It's not that it's up to par. And Kawan, what about you? How do you feel about your relationship with Travesty in that sense for feedback?
Far as rhyming, it's not more what he says and how he rhymes because I'm a fan of his
Yeah.
pen. Only thing I think I'll do is I'll come in and I'll say, what if we added this to it after I hear what he wrote to kind of add to enhance what he says kind of thing. But it's never. I don't think that's a whack rhyme. I'll never tell him that. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
no, no,
I'm
no.
not I'm not an MC, but I know what you mean. But
Hopefully
I
pick
would
one,
never.
you know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
sure if I kicked one, he'd be like, ah.
No, yeah, and I
Nah.
totally didn't mean it like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
No, that's all love.
yeah.
Yeah, but he actually, to be honest, like I just sent him a joint here recently for something, and he did come back and was like, "Hey, what if we, when how about we flip it up here on this part instead of this piece?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can do that. That's easy. That's an easy sequence kind of thing." So I didn't. So I take that kind of constructive criticism too. Like I'm not gonna be like, "No, once I
Yeah,
send it to you, it is what it is." Like if he hears it a different way, then I'm cool with flipping stuff. You know what I mean? So that yeah, no, we definitely had that relationship where we can
that's
go
awesome.
back and forth on ideas and stuff.
No, and that's another good thing. I love working with different people. It brings out a sound that I'm not used to doing, right? So it brings out a different side to me. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome. That's always the fun part. So
Mhm.
I'll have somebody tell me to like try to do something, and I'm like, I don't know if this sounds right. But then
Mhm.
after we do it, I'm like, oh, this is not bad, man. Never done it
Yeah,
this way. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the benefit of that. But fantastic. Let's dive into the album real quick. And Travesty, actually, you know what? Before I dive into the album, I always love to ask this question. Travesty, how did you get your MC name?
Actually, Jokes gave me that name back in the days in the bench. Honestly, I don't even know how we got his name with Joker, but my name's Travis. So it's just
Okay.
kind of like a play off the words of Travis. There was like Travesty the Majesty. There was a bunch of, always a bunch of different stuff. And then, just with my voice and my tone, I guess in ways I move methodically. Some motherfuckers would call me, or people would call me lazy or whatnot. So Travisty the Lazy MC, just kind of how it came together, just with the flow and everything. Yeah, I stuck with it. I dug it. Lazy MC. I just dug it. I just dug the flow. It just looks cool when you write it and all that.
Mhm.
So I was digging it.
Well, hey, the album is entirely produced by Kawon Project. Again, a bouncy, dark, smoky, very abstract and boom bapish, and I love it. And then the flow, man, just embraced it really well. Great that you guys had some features too as well. Mad Dog McGraw, Rock King, both feature on the album. And what was the decision process on who would feature on the album? Kawon, was that what you recommended? Travesty, did you ask for them? How that worked?
Yeah, I think it was more of me
Okay.
not pushing it on Trav. I know that I think the for that particular track, that was one of the beats I kind of before you recorded to it. Or I typically when I place beats on my social media, the track's already recorded. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of me kind of teasing the track. And so Trav recorded his verse to that beat. And then I noticed Mad Dog kind of hit me on my inbox. Was like, yo, that joint is dope. I like that beat. And I was like, huh. You know what I mean? Because Mad Dog is one of my guys, man. He's one of my favorite
Yeah, you
MCs too,
dope.
out
Straight
in
up.
out
Very
in
cool.
Michigan. And so me and him are gonna try to work on something at some point when his schedule permits. But I was like, yo, this would be a dope way to kind of tease the people of your voice on one of my beats. So I was like, yo, Trav, are you cool with adding a Mad Dog? You know what I'm saying? And Trav was all for it. He's like, yeah, he's dope. Let's throw him on there. And then at the time, Rob was just kind of one of the guys who's in the clique. So from that old school '90s era, you always want to have a part of the crew on each other's projects, so you kind of can keep that familiarity with it, right? So Trav was cool with it. He definitely enjoyed to record with those guys, and it's a dope record, man. I love that beat too. I just kind of it was one of those joints where I wanted the beat to go a little bit longer so I can do a couple of switch ups on it and just kind of do some funky things with it. So that's it was just kind of me making a recommendation, and Trav was all for it. So I appreciate him for that too, because he could have been like, "Nah, it's a solo album for a reason."
Oh, it's great, man. Great additions to the album. Always a calculated decision when you decide on whether or not to feature people.
Mhm.
Travesty, talk to me about the intro to the album. What was your idea in terms of like how you wanted to set off the album?
From our perspective, we had to join Butter, and I actually was talking to him, and I was, the the butter joint was already recorded, and I think Kawon was like just sent me kind of a piece with no drums that he did for the butter joint, and I was like,
Yeah.
huh, and we kind of came up with the idea of, you know, we call it bread, so it'd be like bread and butter, and that would be kind of like the opening to the project, just kind of, you know, right into the first joint. The talking of it, what I'm saying on the intro is really just the vibe of the record, kind of like, you know, where people, you know, people always criticize the music or whatever. There's go dope shit out there, but
Yeah.
then you go in their house and say what you got, and they're like looking at their phone to play you something digital and be like, ah, you don't even got records, and you're talking about dope shit out here. And it's like, digital's cool, but
Yeah.
you know, it's like, yeah, you know, it's like I like basketball, but I don't know an NBA team, you know. So it's like, you know, people play the side. So I was just kind of pushed it that way, and you know, to kind of saying, you know, a little hypocrisy, I guess, that goes out there, what people say, you know, and you don't know how many cats say your shit is so dope and all that, and then you're like, oh, you like it, name a song or something, you know.
Yeah. That's like my tester too, right? You do.
You know, appreciate if you listen to it and you think it's dope and you heard it in the background, but you know, ease up on the compliments.
Yeah, I've had people tell me they bought my record on my website, and I was like, you do know I get an email, right? Like I do know.
Hey, that's some funny shit, man. I absolutely do the same thing too. When people tell me they're like that, hey, what's your favorite song?
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think it's that social media, that like culture, where it's like, you know, I just want to, you know, I'm gonna get a feature, a like from you to hopefully get your fan base to like some of my shit or whatever. I don't even know what it is, but honestly, the people I retweet or like, I really try to listen to their music. I'm support.
No, I just think that's funny too, especially like sometimes when folks want to collab and they tell me that, yeah. Then I'm like, okay, what project you like, right? But hey, Kawon, so I mean, from the intro, you dropped the drums, and you know that Butter was going to be the first track after the intro. Okay, was that a hard decision process or no? You just knew that Butter was going to be the track.
No, Butter felt like the album intro for sure, but the first single or whatever on the album. But I'm a huge fan of just dope intros, man. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just when some albums just start and they go right into it, I'm like, what are we listening to? Like, you gonna set this up? So and I'm a huge fan of like the Premiere. You know, Premiere would do like the interludes with the beat. So I kind of like sticking to that type of thing where if I'm doing some sort of interlude or some of the intro, I want it to be some sort of musical thing. You know what I mean? And that's what, like Trav said, I just kind of sent him that little piece, and I was like, hey, why don't we lead this into the album and just talk your shit? You know what I'm saying? Let's let people know. Kind of set up what the album is all about. And you know, we just really wanted people to know, like, this is one of those albums that you want to own. You just, like you say, you just don't want to go stream it on platforms. You want to actually own this project because this is one of those ones. You know what I mean? And we just wanted to set it up right. And I just love how and shout out to the engineers on this one, my man. We had two people engineer the album. We had John, we had my man Ken Johnston. They did a really good job of sequencing the sound of each record so they can lead into the next one perfectly. And Trav set it up with his speech. We got into Butter, man, and Butter is one of my favorite records, man. I'm just in love with the snares on that joint, man. I love for that record, man. I love how it sounds, and it's good for the ears. And yeah, man, just one of those ones, you know.
Yeah, I handpicked a couple of tracks to talk about, and so Butter was definitely one of my favorites. And I'm not gonna tell you that I like the album and not listen to it if I'm gonna interview you guys, man. So, hey, man, Kawon, you know I'm a fan of lyrics, and I go through it with a fine comb, and so. Travisty, I appreciate the way that you write as well as your delivery, but you know, my favorite piece from that song, Sidewalk Talks, and my man, Feel the Pressure, these lifelong talks that you can't seem to measure. Everyday prayer, but it's not like that. Most times you get a chance to get your spotlight back, man. That's what's up, man. That was good. I love it. Man, it was good. Good, man. So you can tell that you put a lot of time into what you pen. And so, was there something that motivated you to write this track? Did you know this was going to be the first track? What was the motivation behind it?
Honestly, when I first wrote it, no, I didn't know it was the first track. It was just, Kawon sent it to me. It was smooth, and I was just kind of like, honestly, a lot of times when I get the first beat, just to find my pockets, you know, you just kind of freestyle in your head or kick it out. And I think at some point in that freestyle, I was like, you know, I think I said something like "honey dip when the money," you know. So it kind of, and I was like, all right, you know, we keep that going, and it just kind of helped to write itself. And then when Kawon threw the sample in there, had the intro idea, we were like, you know, it sticks together. And you know, on Butter, it was just, you know, like it's simple, like it's called Butter because it's smooth like butter. And then, you know, of course, inspiration of great Tribe Called Quest, you know, with the butter, you know, which just kind of being braggadocious, I guess you'd say, while still keeping it smooth and kind of shouting out those hypocrisies, but also just dropping. I always like to drop those real life gems in there. So I appreciate you kicking that piece because for sure, in my rhymes, I'm always like, I always try to say, like, I'm no Pharaoh Monster or those, you know, I'm super lyrical complex, but I think I keep there's always meanings behind what I say. So it might not be lyrical, miracle, schmiracle, but and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to say that, you know, people make it lyricism, and you know, I think there's levels to it, and I think I'm in the upper echelon, but there's a whole nother level to that side. But for what I try to do is there's always undertones and meanings with sometimes a simple word, you flip it back and you like, you know, that double entendre or whatnot, you know.
Yeah, man. Sometimes less is more. You know what I mean? You don't have to overdo it on the bars. Because there's some people I'm like, yo, I got to listen to this. I can't listen to this, man. I got to listen to this 4, 5, 6 times just to catch it because you're trying to do too much. So less is more.
It's even mean. Sometimes it's a lot of just words, but I appreciate but lyricism, of course. I appreciate that. It's you know the Pharaohs, the Royces, those type of pens, you know, are amazing to hear. You know,
brain busters for sure.
Yeah.
Man. Kawon, your hold the mic track, man. Talk to me about that. That one I thought was another top shelf display of the way you put drums together, man. I'm just a big fan of drums, man.
Hold the mic, man. That's one of my favorite joints too, man. I think I was experimenting with some. I don't know what I was experimenting, but I know that was something different when I found that on my MPC. I think honestly, a ton of those samples in there was stock. You know what I mean? So, because I got a bunch of like sample packs in that machine that I haven't even touched yet. You know what I mean? Because I like to look for my own. But when I did that one, like you said, you know, my drums is always my foundation for everything. So once I figured out the drums and everything started playing in it with those pockets, man, I heard Trav on it, man. I just heard the way that it was paced out and tempoed out. I was like, yeah, I feel like he can skate on this one. You know what I mean? And that boom, boom, I just knew that he was going to have a dope hook for that because Trav is probably one of the best writers with the hooks, man. I love hearing his hooks. I love hearing where he goes to pull a song together, and I never have to worry about him when it comes to a hook because he always gonna give me something dope. He always gonna give me something that I can hear it live at a concert when I hear Trav write because I can like, okay, I can see this being performed at a show. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's just easy to work with him, man, because I kind of know he's gonna give me something. I don't know what he's gonna say, but I know he's gonna give me something special that I'm gonna smile at when I get those records back, man.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a good track. Travis, not to put you on the spot, but just, I interpret this piece of the song in one way. So I'm curious just to hear your interpretation of it. The lines that I picked up was looking at myself like, what's up? You got to get it. Think about the past, wish that some things you can edit. Yeah, now I'm here forever. Couldn't leave if I wanted to. What did you mean when you wrote that?
I mean, and I think that even statement, even in my life, just like, looking at the past, wishing things you can edit, that hindsight's 2020. I think in anyone's life, there's things you wish you can change. And of course, I think we all have a lot of regrets, of course. Yeah, I think that's kind of really on the high level side of that is really just, it's really looking at your past and thinking, wish some things you can change and think you can leave it behind, even if you wanted to. Even when you leave stuff behind, it still comes back and follows you regardless. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if you wanted to or not wanted to, it's almost like a very hypocritical statement in itself because sometimes some things you can leave and it's going to find you either way. So it doesn't matter what you do with it. You either embrace it or leave it behind, it's going to come and get you, depending on what that is. You know, the past
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. And I pulled that just because it made me reflect, right? And just think about my life. I'm like, yeah.
That's dope,
Right, man.
honestly. And those are the statements I make because I think it's important to get. Those are the relatable round. You know, I appreciate
Yeah.
that because those are the things where it's like, hey, I'm saying those things because I want people to think about their lives, and it has to be high level enough to make it so everyone can relate to it. Essentially in that. So that's it's dope that anytime an MC gets someone thinking, I'm sure you feel the same. You know, anytime someone comes back, like so.
Well
Word.
done. My hats off to you both for the first two songs. I jumped to track number 5, Know My Name, Kawon. Can you talk to me about the process of putting that specific song together? Do you recall any
Yeah.
special memories when you
Yeah, so that one, I found that I was in the record shop digging, always digging. At least once a month, I go to the record store. And that sample that you hear on there was one of those records I found, man. I didn't know what I was going to do with it at the time, but it sounded like wild. I was like, what can this is weird. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got home and I listened to the record again and I was, just kind of messing with it and I started chopping up the samples on that one, I was like, okay, I know what I can do with this one. I was okay, we're gonna do something with that one, right? And when I sent it to Trav, it was one of the ones I didn't know if he was gonna like or not. Sometimes my production can be it's simple, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I know some people, I see some producers produce, man, and I see they stems and they got like 40 something stems on the record, and I'm just like, that's just crazy. And honestly, man, with me, you may get 4 or 5 out of me. You know what I mean? I just try to find the best sounds and just kind of make them blend. And I think that's just more of my DJ side too. It's being like a blend DJ. I just want things to blend nice. So when I sent that off to Trav, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna think this is too simple production wise, or he gonna think, this is kind of corny, but he liked it, man. And I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And it kind of solidified to me that maybe simplicity is always the best way to go. Because again, remember when I was building this album with Trav, I was still trying to figure out myself as a producer and certain sounds and all that kind of stuff. He kind of helped working on this project, helped me realize like just stick to my lane and stick to my guts. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm on the right path.
Yeah, it's a great song. And then Travis, again, hats off to your pen game on this song. Yo, this rap shit is real. Might put you in the box, never stop in the field, still looking for my spot. If you hanging with the raw is proper, what you got, you would think that I'm a chef when I'm cooking in the pot. Yeah, hell yeah, man, all day. I love it, man. Any special memories when you were putting that song together, or just some thoughts?
What's funny? It's funny that Kawon, because I didn't know, Kawon wasn't sure about that beat. Because honestly, from the artist perspective, which sometimes it's the worst, that's one of my favorite joints on there from me that I really like. The part with the O's on the hook. I originally when I wrote the hook, I had them blank, so it was like, when they go and cop the tape, like, and I just left them blank, and then I filled in a little ad libs afterwards to go on top of that. But that was another smooth one. We got some visuals coming for that one too. Yeah, that one just came together, and that one kind of gave me, even though it sounded different, it took me back to my reminisce '90s album. So I got kind of in that mode where I was kind of like, all right, let's get a little busy on this, and it was just a smooth joint. I really ended up liking, and same thing, just trying to get a little braggadocious on that one. Well, obviously to know my name, but still on the hook with the ad libs, still being a little, hypocritical, kind of what we talking when you go and cop the tape, like, oh, that shit was dope, So like when I put in my ad libs where it's like on both sides of it, you get the truth and you get, the people just saying it is what it is, but it's all love either way.
Yeah, man. And that one for me, man, like my production style, I rarely kind of build in those type of hooks. You know what I mean? Because I always want to leave that to the artist. But then it helped me realize that sometimes you can kind of lead them you can kind of spark some ideas. You know what I'm saying? For certain things. Because like I said, I rarely did it. So it was one of those things where I was trying something new on the production side, and then it worked. And I was like, oh, okay, so you actually can kind of hear something, and maybe that'll spark something. And so at least 1 or 2 beat packs now. I'll have at least 1 or 2 joints now where I can do that and see if maybe that'll help spark something on the creative side. So, like I said, man, I was trying to compete with Reminisce, man, and Benchwarmers Click. So this project. It wasn't nerve wracking for me, but it was kind of like I wanted to add to the catalog. You know what I mean? So it was like I was fighting myself a lot on a lot of these beats, man.
That's a great point, though. I do like it when producers kind of help and lead me sometimes. in the direction with the song when they do that with the hooks and stuff. So I always appreciate it.
Hmm.
You know, hook writing is not easy at all, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, I'll take any help I can get, man. But
No, that's
I went through the project, and you know, I always do this. You know, when I prepare for an interview, I'm like, okay, you got to make sure I gotta, or I have to make sure that, you know, I determine which one is my favorite song, right? And I'll do this. And this was first song, which I thought was my favorite song, but I actually have another favorite song later on. But Double Up was super
Hmm.
dope. Faster drums on this one. Lyrics on point. I'm pulling up dark days. I see the light shine. Try to build a piece so I respect if you like mine. Another episode, catch a flow like it's pipeline. Live like villain if you lost. Go and fight for crime. I do scheme to pursue cream. I break through. I love this line right here. I bend fools, homie number two, like a pencil. Essential.
yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. I appreciate good
Okay.
metaphors, man.
Um,
Okay, Travisty,
Word.
talk to me about that song. My favorite song, man. Ride's really good. What are your thoughts on that song?
Word. I think that was one. I think when Kawon sent me, I think two joints at the time, and I think maybe I think it was a Lucy or something. I don't think Kawon was 100 on if I would choose. For some reason, I think Kawon wasn't 100 if I was going to choose that joint, but it had that.
hmm.
I guess
Hmm.
I don't know if the sample was Oriental or it was from Japan or China or something like that, but it was
Yeah.
super dope. It just kind of set me off. I think again when I was kind of just going off in my head, I found that when I was like just gave me that like tough vibe. And like you said, the drums were hard on that one. And I think that was like around like 95. So it was a little bit quicker on the pace.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
we needed something to speed up, the project. And I was like, okay, this will be a nice one to fit in there.
Yeah.
The sample was nice. It gave me a piece for the hook. And it was just kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that one kind of
Oh,
wrote itself. Another kind of braggadocious to some
Yeah.
degree, which all records are, but some have more meanings. This one was really just talking my
yeah.
stuff, and I got visuals to this one too coming eventually.
I went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went real chop heavy on this one, and it
Uh-huh.
is. It's a. I got this actually the same vinyl run that I did with the other joint.
Uh-huh.
I love the international section, man, and that was like an actual it was a South Korean opera.
Dope.
It
I
was
love it,
weird, and I
man.
just heard her voices, and I was like, I know I could do something with this. I don't know what yet. And then, like Trav said, when I put those drums down, then I kind of thought about that record,
Yeah.
and I just kind of ran it and listened to it. And my wife was looking at me crazy, like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, "Just give me a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me do it, man.
let me get it. Give me a minute, real quick." And then, like, literally, that's probably I don't know. I think I chopped that thing up to like maybe 32. What I'm saying, different chops on that one, and throughout the whole verse and the hook, that's just me playing the chops over the drums. It's real simple.
Oh,
And so I was just hitting the chops and then switching it up, and like it was no pattern to it. I was just, what I'm saying? And when I heard it, I was like, this is dope,
yeah.
but does it fit the album? So then, like Travis, right? I was like, I don't know if he's gonna want this to fit the album, but I'll send it to him just to see what it is. If not, I'll figure out what to do with it for me. It was something that I felt like I was being real creative with the chop. I was just like, let me just play it like an instrument. Let me just really, basically finger drum it and see what I can do with it. And that's when I was just hitting those different chops
Mm-hmm.
and catching the different sounds of that lady's voice. And some parts were kind of a little bit longer than others, so it kind of flowed real nice with the drums. And I was like, yeah, this is dope, man. Hopefully he like it. If not, I'll find somebody to rhyme to this one because this
Yeah.
this one got to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was certainly the different one of the entire album, but to me, it just flexes the versatility of Travisty's flow and then your
Mhm.
ability to just flip beats on command. So I think it was great, great add to
Mhm.
the album. So good
Yeah,
song.
So
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was my favorite song, and then I'm gonna jump to my favorite track of the album, which is "Let It Go." You guys talked about it earlier. As also has the my favorite verse from Travesty also on there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Trav, can you talk to me about that song "Let It Go"? Anything special with that when you guys were putting that record together?
um I think at the time, what was funny is I think when we recorded that at the time was kind of when it was that was the first joint we did, and it was up in the air of
Ooh,
what was going to happen with my work and stuff.
yeah,
And it was kind of like I might be moving, and I was like, I wasn't, I wasn't sure. South Florida has a really dope hip hop scene.
yeah.
And it's really rich and a lot of dope MCs and a lot of movement going on down there. So
Oh,
and a lot of relationships I made throughout the years. So I think at the time it was kind of like let it go and was just kind of part over it. Now, nothing, that song, Let It Go, I think it's very, still the topics are all very high level. It's not really zeroed into on a specific topic. But what I was going through in my life, I wrote it that way. So hopefully others can relate to kind of
Yeah.
just like letting it go, let your stress go to some degree, but still again, I'm braggadocious in parts, talking about my life and still trying to drop the gems in there. But essentially the whole point is just kind of like, let it go. You just kind of gotta go with the flow in some cases, let it ride.
Yeah, I love it. Since day one, I don't really play son. Used to be a hoodlum, pockets I would take from. Now I get stacks from my raps. They react and clap. I don't front. I just watch my back, keep my cipher complete, never scared. So my rivals retreat. Navy SEAL shit, survival techniques. I love that. Man, woo, my favorite verse. Come on, what about you, man? Tell me about the making of that track. Anything special? Do you recall just putting that one in, putting that one together?
Yeah, I remember just the session of building that beat, man. It was fun, man, just because the beat is so mellow. You know what I'm saying? It had the little jazz samples in there. Like
Yeah.
I felt like I was on my hip hop Miles Davis, man, or Quincy Jones. I don't know what I was, but I just love how it sounded. I love how it came together. Everything was just natural to me. It's like I was literally finding the right samples at the right time. I think I didn't fool too much with this one as far as adding filters or anything like that, man. It was just like everything just kind of flowed naturally with it. And I believe this is probably one of the rare ones where the sample led the production as far as creative wise. Like I found that sample and I was like, I got to do something with this. So I just kind of chopped up the sample first, and then I built the drums around the sample on that one. You know what I mean? Which for me, it's like right brain, left brain. It was like me writing left-handed. I'm a right-hander. I'm a righty.
I like
So
that.
it was weird for me to even like try to put it together. I was freaking out at the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing and I was going to delete everything. And I was like, well, no, let's finish. Let's just build through it. So it took me a lot of drums to get to where I got on that one. Just because the first few it didn't feel right, but when I got to that one, I was like, let's just find something soft. It doesn't have to be something that hits too heavy, but something that complements that bass line and complements those keys.
Yeah.
And instantly, I knew this is something I wanted to send to Trav. And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do these Lucy records and basically, because the plan was to do like a new single every month for like a few months just to kind of get my feet underneath. I
Yeah.
said this would be perfect to start off with Trav. You know what I'm saying? To help me with this. And he killed it, man. He liked it instantly, and I was like, this is dope. You know what I mean? So, and circle back to the Mad Dog McGraw. Mad Dog, I did a record with him too the same week I did with Trav, and that's why I kind of pieced them two together on that record because they kind of helped me out on the production side as far as kind of getting myself together. And me and Mad Dog did a kind of a record together too. And but Let It Go is one of my favorites. Like I said, it kind of surprised me how much people really like this record, just because I didn't really put enough much promo behind it at first. Like when it was just a single,
Yeah.
like it's just I just threw it out to the DJs and let me know what you think about it. But when I started getting reports of it being played like in college radio and community radio and all this stuff and being featured on blogs and stuff, I was like, oh, I think me and Trav got something here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So again, my favorite song, my favorite beat, and my favorite Travisty verse. Dope song, man.
Dope.
I did my
Dope,
homework.
dope.
We might have to shoot a visual for this one, Trav.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, fucking well done, fellas, man. I like that. Yeah, I would love to see a video for that one too, for sure. That'd be dope. Travesty, I'm gonna turn to you for the last track that I'm gonna talk about coming back. You guys talked about it. Hook writing is definitely a skill. Sometimes people put hooks together and you're like, there's no way you're gonna perform that hook, man. But I thought coming back was dope. That was another song that the hook made me reflect and think about like what you were trying to say. I'm gonna ask you what it means, but I do want to read the lyrics real quick. I wish you would have made it where I'm at, but I still hold you down at the place you found me at. From the bottom of the map to the top, I'm coming back. No, it's love from my side. Ain't nobody stopping that. Talk to me about the inspiration behind that song and what you meant with that hook.
For sure. That was again pretty much I was moving. So it's pretty much from the top of from the bottom of the map to the top and coming back. I was moving from Florida to Indianapolis pretty much. And how I did it is I really didn't tell too many people I was moving, just a close few. So like I think, people found out mostly on the other end, but it was kind of like you know, uh, wish I would have made it where I was at was kind of like, Florida's expensive. It's tough going on, and I had an opportunity to kind of improve my family's life, I guess, and move up here, and that's kind of the what I took. But that's the meaning of I wish I would have made it where I'm at, because I wish I was still back down there right now, and but regardless, it's love either way. And the verses is just kind of like me saying, peace to my family, my friends. There was a lot more written to that, but I kind of during the second verse I kind of stopped and kind of just kind of ad-libbed it. It was just a lot of personal stuff, and I think I just wasn't ready to say it on record yet. But there's a lot of that, is dedicated to my wife, my daughter, my mom's, my sister, and my close friends and stuff that I just kind of like peace, and I didn't really play for anyone until the when they hear it when the album comes out type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very personal track, but I really like it. In hindsight, I wish I finished that second verse, but still really like how it came out.
There you go.
I'm like when I'm my tracks, my personal tracks. I mean, there was an old Bench track where he talked about when my father passed. There's a lot of personal stuff, but even how I write a lot of times is personal, but it's very high level to make it relatable to all. Because I don't want to. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I play that role where I don't get too much into all of my specific, I guess, pieces of life, but
yeah.
I want it to be relatable for other people too, to have that feel or reminisce or think about certain things. So write it broad in that way, especially on the hook.
Fantastic, man. Kawon, what about you? What can you tell me about the process of putting that beat together? And
Yeah, for sure. And before I do that real quick, Trav, I can say that a few people hit me up after the album drop and they told me that, yo, I've known Trav for a while, man. This is probably the most personal I've heard him rhyme about stuff.
yeah.
So,
Word.
he's definitely opening up. He's definitely people feel like he opened up on this album. So they was like, I don't know what you did, K, but you got him to open up on some records. But
Yeah.
but nah, that actual beat, man, I actually released that on a beat tape that I put out a while ago, and Trav actually hit me and said, "Yo, what you doing?" Because some of those, I think Butter was on that beat tape, and then this track was on the beat tape as well. So it was already kind of released as an instrumental. We just removed some things to kind of go with his because I had like a built-in hook originally on the beat part, the beat tape version. And so Trav heard it, man, and then after he recorded to it, I instantly knew, okay, I was like, this is how we're gonna end the album. This is a perfect way to stick the landing on this particular album. You know what I mean? So I don't remember, honestly, I don't remember process of putting the beat together because it wasn't specifically for this track, for this album. But I'm glad that, and that's why I put out the beat tapes too, to kind of, I don't put them out because I want people to hear how dope I am as a beat maker, which I do. But if it inspires MCs and hit me up and they're like, yo, can I reuse that beat for something? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, because that's why I kind of put it out. It's kind of like my promo card, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm glad that he chose a couple of joints off that beat tape to use, and he even pulled apart some other joints that he's gonna use for some future work off of that one beat tape that we can use. So I was glad that he picked that. When I heard what he wrote, I was like, yeah, this is a perfect way to kind of end the album. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like that's the way that you want to kind of stick the landing on this project, you know what I'm saying? Because it's such a diverse album, sound wise and topic wise. So it's definitely one of those ones I love too, man. I love listening to it. Me and Trav kind of have, like I said, a lot of similarities in life, man, because I lost my dad too, and we talked about that. And it's kind of cool to kind of hear him talk about his life experiences and how we kind of align in a lot of ways, you know.
A fantastic project. I hope this is not the end to the collaborations. I hope this is one of many. What a time to be alive. What an outstanding project, man. You guys complement each other real well. And I will say at the end, I'll just quote Kawon. Kawon, I read in a different interview, you mentioned that you guys wanted to make something that feels timeless, something you could drop the needle on 20 years from now and still it's just as hard. It's hip hop rooted in the underground, but it's got its own flavor that sets it apart. I absolutely agree, concur. An amazing project, and I have no doubt 30 years down the line, we're all going to be loving it the same way we do on the first listen.
You gotta get that vinyl from Trav. He'll take care of you on that one.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Before I close this amazing interview out, I wanted to thank you both just for just a deep dive into the project, getting to know you both as a team together. Kawon, we've already spoken before, man, and just
Yeah.
love just the openness and just the conversations that we have. Travesty, it was an honor to speak to you as well. Yeah, I can't wait to dive into that South Florida scene, man. So I'm looking just to learn more from you. But man, I love everything that I've been hearing. And so before I close this thing out and give you guys the floor one last time, I got a couple questions for y'all. I love
All
to
right.
close it out with these wonky questions. Travesty, the first question goes to you. If aliens landed and asked you to introduce them to hip hop, which three albums would you introduce them to?
Ooh. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's tough. I, I'm gonna put Moment of Truth. I gotta throw a Gangstar record in there. I
Mm,
gotta throw a Gangstar record in there.
okay.
So I'd say Moment of Truth. Um, shit.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe Eric Beef, President.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
Mm.
What else am I gonna say?
On the spot.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving Kawon time to think because I'm gonna flip the question to him next.
Right.
All right.
I'm still
Actually,
thinking.
no, wait, I'm tripping. What did I say? No, Air Beef, I'm tripping. So I'm gonna say Moment of Truth. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Paid in Full. Sorry, excuse me, not Air Beef. Jesus Christ. Paid in Full, Moment of Truth, Paid in Full, and then 36 Chambers.
Yeah, that's a good one for
He
sure.
took mine. He took mine.
I was gonna say Hard to Earn, just so you know, but I switched it to Moment of Truth.
All right. I'm gonna go just so they can catch up on some political stuff. I'm gonna say Fear the Black Planet,
Yeah.
Public Enemy. I'm gonna say he took 36 Chambers, so I gotta think of something else. I'm gonna say Midnight Marauders, Tribe Called Quest, and then I'm going to say shoot. Gotta be just hip hop?
No, let's go music. I'll open it up.
Okay, let's go shit. R.I.P. Let's go D'Angelo, Brown Sugar.
Oh man, okay. All
That was a
right.
dope. That was the first CD I ever purchased when I had a job. Even though I'm a hip hop head, when I had my first job,
It's good,
the
man.
D'Angelo Brown Sugar album was the first album I purchased, just because I was blown away with the
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, the song he did with AZ is my favorite. But yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
great choices.
yeah,
Okay,
That was the remix, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna give this next one though to Kawon first. Who had the better song between Tag Team Whoop There It Is or 95 South Whoop There It Is?
Tag Team or 95 South? Tag Team. I feel like Tag Team had a longer run with theirs. They were on a Geico commercial, so they had some.
I didn't even know that. I gotta look.
Yeah.
So I try to create a Florida question. Right? I think 95 South is from Florida, right? Is that where they're from?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Travesty. Which one had the better track? You going with the Hometown Heroes, or you going with the one that was on the Adams Family with MC Hammer?
I gotta go with Hometown, but man, yeah. Tag team was big time though. Tag team was big
Tag Team
time.
was-
Tag team ready. Let's begin.
I tell you,
Let me hear
I'll
some
tell you how
noise.
big Tag Team was. I remember
Yeah.
They
when I
were
was
huge,
younger.
95 South.
I remember when I was younger, I had a friend because I used to come to Dallas all the time as a kid for like summer vacations because I had an aunt that lived here. My aunt had a neighbor who was like traditional king of the hill redneck. You know what I mean? Like traditional. Like they listened to Hank Williams. You know all these. But he had the Tag Team record in his truck. I remember that. Because he's like, oh, you listen to rap? Yeah, you listen to rap, and he threw that in. And I was like, this ain't. Come on, man, this ain't.
That song hits though, man. I can't remember. It was like the Arsenio Hall show or something where they brought both groups on and they had like a battle. That was
Yeah,
yeah. And I think they had like people
Okay.
dialing in vote, but it was fun. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My question goes to Travesty. In honor of the Miami-based sound, tell me your favorite 2 Live Crew song.
Oh man. Oh. I shouldn't say.
We don't have to, man. We don't have to. Yeah, I was picking Florida questions, man. So
I mean, two live crew. I mean, they're game changers for sure. I mean, honestly, the clubs. I mean, pop that, pop
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, they got they, yeah, listen. They got so many joints.
Hits,
That
man.
got the club going. Probably pop that. You can't go
Yeah,
wrong. Pop that. You can't go wrong. I
yeah.
mean, that's their hit. But I mean,
Yeah.
Luke, what was the joint? Luke had a joint. The Two Live Crew joint. They had a joint with Biggie.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
And
wow.
Biggie's
yeah,
talking
but
nasty about girls on it, but Biggie's got two verses, and I think on it, and
was that busting what you busting
I think it might be called like Bustin' Nut. It might be
yeah,
what it's
busting up,
called.
yeah.
It might be what it's called. And I think a lot. What was really dope about Two Live Crew, even before the independent scene that Luke, did.
Yeah.
They were the first ones where it's kind of like, oh, everything was independent. You know how they did it, how they pressing records, and the respect they got, and other people that came to Miami, they gave respect to those guys. So yeah,
I mean,
big shouts out to Live Crew and
and hip hop owes Luke a big thank you, man, because he beat the government for censorship. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
banned in the USA. I
Yeah,
love that song too.
if it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
for
it was a big record.
Luke, man, hip hop would be a whole different look right now, based off of what they were trying to take him down for. So shout out, Luke he's a pioneer, man.
yeah, game changers for sure, man. I thought that would be a fun question for y'all. Kawon, what about you? Did you have a favorite Two Live Crew song?
I probably do, but I was really young, so I shouldn't.
Me So Hungry? Is that
Yeah, so
the
I
clean
mean,
version, right?
yeah,
Me
so
so
I
hungry.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't think I was probably exposed to them more just based off of what the videos were. Like I never got to dig deep into their catalog like that,
Yeah.
just because I was living in New York at the time and we weren't hearing that on the radio.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think like you said, Lizard is probably one of the ones that was popular for me. Pop that obviously. Like I said, me so horny. I mean the basics, I shouldn't have been watching those
Yeah.
videos at that age.
Those are the first ones, the first before the BET Uncut joints.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let me close out with one final question for Travisty. I've asked you already, Kawon. So, Travisty, I'll give you the last question. Is if you could have a meal with someone past or present, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Past, the present, dead or alive. If I was just talking, I guess if it was keeping on some hip hop stuff, I'd love to hear the stories probably with from Premier about all like the stuff that went down in D&D, all those D&D years. I mean, you hear about the studio. It was crazy. You see at the time how big those records were that were recorded in there, and the artist has been in there, and you're like, there was no air conditioning. It was like the studio that we were in. I mean, it had obviously some equipment in there, but to just be that I guess that dirty basement studio and have Premiere and Beat Miners and QNC and all those type of artists in there, just making heat rocks. That'd be, I think, a dope thing to do. Sit down with Premiere and hear about that. Those type of stories.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice, man. Thank you again, man. I had a good time talking to you guys about the project. I can't wait till the physicals come out. I will certainly pick up a vinyl. But now let me turn the floor over to both of you. Please, final words go to you guys.
Word. First, big shouts out to you. Appreciate you having us on the platform, man, and letting us speak about the project and checking the project and showing us the respect for the project. So that's big time, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. And honestly, big shouts out to Kawon and Mago Records for working with me and putting this project together. And, big shouts to everyone who's listening and showing support and, shoot me a DM, holler at me. I'm always down to build and keep just making dope music with people. I'm a fan of hip hop, and you can check me at Travisty the Lazy MC or at the Invincible Bench. I'm on either page. And we just going to keep putting out dope shit. Big shouts to Mago Records. We got more coming, but right now it's what a time to be alive.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, man. Just shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, man, for having us on again, man. It's always fun to talk to somebody who appreciates, the art, man. And it's always fun to listen to people's opinion on these projects. So thank you for that. Shout out to DJ at Mad Good Records again for partnering up with us, man, for being an advocate, saying for indie hip hop. Shout out to Trav for allowing me to be in his circle, man. Trav to me is one of those elite dudes, man, on the scene. And the fact that he let me in and he let me produce a project for him, knowing that he has this really dope history and catalog, and that to add to that is definitely an honor for me. This project definitely has helped me get my confidence more from a producer standpoint. He's an established artist, you know what I mean? And you know, prior to that, I was kind of working, helping build other guys and working with them. So the fact that he's an established artist and kind of lets me do my thing and spits over my beats is definitely dope, man. So this is an honor to release this project with him, and I'm forever grateful for Trav for that, man. And we got a lot of dope stuff coming, man. I wish you could hear a lot of these records that we got in the tuck right now. I mean, you'll hear them at some point soon, but we got some joints, bro. We got some joints.
I love it. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you again, both. I can't wait again to get a copy of that physical. But let's do it again, man. You guys are always welcome back, and happy to have you guys talk about your projects or old projects, whatever you want, man. Always down to talk music. You guys enjoy the last of your weekend. I'm jumping into Monday in a couple hours, so we'll talk soon.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Peace.